Start streaming. Are we good? Good, 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 good. Looks good. All right. Share. Copy. Announcements. Done. Close that. Hey, Al, let me know if you can hear me and stuff. I'm sending out the announcement right here. Apologies if you're getting a dupe on this. But looks like we got some folks in here already. We'll get started in just a minute. A minute to win it. Here we go. Bam. Awesome. Welcome to the class. Glad you can hear me. Hopefully the sound quality is okay. We do have about a 3 or 4 second lag here. I get a little bit of latency built into this thing just so it doesn't turn out crappy on your end. Or at least that's the hope. All right, so if you're out there, post up hey, welcome to class thing in the comments there. So, and we will get started here in just a couple minutes. I just kicked out the email, so we'll probably have quite a few folks hop in here in the next couple minutes. But I see a couple of you spooking around in there already. So, welcome to the class. I hope you like the YouTube format. You know, it seems to work pretty well for me. And I don't know. I think it helps your, hey, how are you? How are you, Dean? Hey, Ashley. Hey, Kim. Hey, Jacob. Hey, Marcus. Howdy. Hello, Daisy. Good to see you again. So, welcome back. Here for OB now. Had enough stats out of me, huh? I think I had you. Yeah, I definitely had you in stats. Hannah, Abby, welcome. Hello. All right, we got tons of people here. Awesome. So, like I said, we'll get started in just a couple minutes here. Get a few more people a chance to hop in here. Of course, it's like first day stuff, and so we won't be here too terribly long. Yeah, no, I remember you. Yeah, so I hope your break went well. So mine was exceptionally peaceful. I watched a lot of television. So, hey Jeff, how are you? Let's see. I got hooked on a couple different shows this break. I finally chewed through Yellowstone. Finally, after years, my brother was like, "Oh, you gotta watch this show," and he was actually right. It's pretty good. So I just didn't really want to watch any more Kevin Costner. So, but that's okay. He was all right. Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, but this is a little bit different format than maybe some of you are used to. I don't know. It depends on how your fall classes went. I know the fall was a little bit of a struggle because we started on ground and then went online, and I know that was grinding a lot of gears for a lot of folks. So I don't know if you had Zoom in the past. I don't know if you maybe did a YouTube channel somewhere else for some of your classes. But I like to use YouTube because I think it does a good job of protecting your privacy. And also, if you miss a lecture at any given point in time, it's totally cool. You can just check it out later. It's all on my channel. And so this will upload a little bit later in the afternoon. I don't know how I mean, YouTube will post it automatically. Sometimes they're really fast and sometimes not so much. But if you miss a lecture in this class, it's absolutely fine. Unlike a Zoom class where if you're in Zoom and you miss it, you're basically screwed. Although I hear that there's ways to make it record, but my understanding is that like most of the school accounts that we have just don't have the bandwidth for that. So, hi Harley, how are you? So it's good to see you. So I hope this format it's a little comfortable for you if you watch any other YouTube live streams or on Twitch or anything like that. It's kind of a very similar format. And, so if you have questions at any time, just dump them in there. If you have comments you want to pick on your classmates, it's absolutely fine. So the comments, they don't load later on, okay? So that was a mistake that I made in the fall. And so in the future, the YouTube comments will not post into the stream down the road, so I should be able to protect all your privacy really well with this. And honestly, I think it's better than everybody checking out your background, in Zoom. So we're sitting there watching you, and you can tell that you're doing something else in class or something like that. So this one, if you're doing something else, it's totally fine by me. So, I'm sorry to hear that. So tired, huh? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm very well rested. I slept a lot. I watched a lot of TV. I didn't work on any of my schoolwork or anything like that during the break, and so it was a good rest up time. I hope some of you got some of that in during the break. But here we are, spring semester. Let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to Management 301. This is organizational behavior. Hopefully you're in the right spot. So, and it looks like quite a few of you are here. I think we got about 25 people in the class. I haven't checked in a couple days, so the fact that it looks like we got about 20 of you here right now is really, really good to see. And so welcome to the class. We're going to have a lot of fun in this class. And we're also going to, over the course of the course, we're going to really, it's my goal in this class always is to help you become a better manager in the future. I know the class is part of the core requirements in HSB, so many of you, even if you're not part of the business school, so we always have some students who are in the automotive program. We have some students now who are in construction program. Sometimes we get randos who are taking different classes outside of their major. But most of you are here probably because you're in the business program and this is part of the core. And so there's basically 3 classes in the core that you'll take that deal with management. And so the first one, of course, was Dr. Wakefield's Management 201, the Principles of Management class. And this class builds a lot on that one. And then down the road, there's an organizational theory class that you take as well. This is more so the meaty part of what I consider to be kind of the leadership curriculum. And so in this class, we'll spend a lot of time talking about leadership, developing you as a leader, putting some tools in your toolbox to use as a manager, and also talking quite a bit about management theory. With the express intent on my part that management theory is only as good as it is useful out there in the world. Okay, and so we will go over some theories in this class that hopefully they're tools that I can put in your toolbox that when you get out there in the wild and you do some managing on your own, you will say, hey, Pat talked about that. That's actually a thing. It happens. And so that's my goal. A little bit about me up front, and then we'll dive into the course and answer your questions here. But so I've been teaching now at HSB for, I think this is my 6th year. I've been teaching college for over 10 years at this point in time. I came from the community college system. Mostly at PPCC, but also a couple other smaller colleges here and there. And then prior to that, I was a manager in transportation for over 15 years. And so I come with a little bit of an academic background and a little bit of practical background. And so, this class will be peppered with stories about how I screwed things up as a manager. And so I'll point out where some of the landmines are so you don't step on them when you get there, if you're not there already. This class is kind of cool because every now and then we get some folks who have either military background or they're coming from a business background already, and brushing up their credentials and things like that with a degree. Or quite more often than not, I'm seeing a lot of people who are, what we tend to be considered college age, but have already done 2 or 3 years in supervisory roles. All right, whether they be through athletics or a church organization or a public service organization, something like that. I'm starting to see more and more people, and I don't know if this is a thing that's going on in the high schools and whatnot, but I'm starting to see more and more people over the last few years who actually bring a little bit of management experience to this class, even if they're very early in their careers, which was certainly true in mine. I started managing people when I was like 16, and so I was terrible at it, I'll tell you what. But with that being said, the plan for today is very straightforward. We're only going to be here for probably maybe another 15, 20 minutes, all right, is to go over the syllabus, go over all my expectations, and then how you do all the assignments for this class. I'm going to walk you through every step today here on Blackboard. And then we'll do a little Q&A at the end. So as I'm going through things today, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just post them up in there. I'll see them, okay? And I'll get to them as quickly as I can. And so think of that as like raising your hand, but raising your hand and putting your question out there already. I promise I'll get to you on it if you have a question, or if I cover something a little bit too fast and you don't catch it. It's absolutely fine. I don't have any problems with repeating myself. All right? And so today would be like that first day in class where we all sit down and I start blathering, okay, but you're trying to figure out, okay, what is it that we're trying to do here? Let's take a look at the syllabus, all those things. And so this is no different than that, okay? We are, before we get started here, let's talk about the semester just a little bit. So my understanding, and this is all in flux still, but I know for sure that at least these first 2 weeks we are 100% online. Okay, and so we will meet here on my YouTube channel at 11:15 on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then we'll have a discussion between now and then about, hey, is this working for you? Does it help? Is it flexible for you? Because that's my goal. Or, is there something missing from it? How do we bake that into the class at that point in time? Any of those things are absolutely fine. We will have discussions about that in one way or another. But my understanding is the first 2 weeks were definitely online. After that, the campus is going to make a decision, okay, about whether or not we can actually start meeting on campus again. It's my goal to try and get us some FaceTime in this class, but also, faced with the reality of the situation, I also understand that some people might not be comfortable with that. And so I'm going to tell you right off the bat that if you want to do this class 100% online, that's totally fine by me. I have the entire thing set up where you can just rock it through, whatever you want to do, and you'll never have to step foot on campus if you don't want to. Because I understand that right now the kind of the hoops to get on campus are pretty onerous. Everybody's got to be tested, and of course we're still at 25% capacity, even if they go down a level in whatever the terrorism level of COVID that we have. So I don't know, we're like level Urkel or something like that. So if they knock that down, they let us come back 25% on campus. There's a chance that classes like this one might not be able to come back to campus because it's a lecture-based class. My understanding is that a lot of the lab-based classes are going to have priority, and even then we would be capped at 25%. And so if there's 15, 20 of us who want to show up to a session, it might not even be possible. There will be more of that coming in the future. I'm not going to sit here and speculate on it too much. We're going to have to defer to the powers that be. So I hope this format works at least for now. And then if you get used to it like this, and if you like it like this, we'll do it like this. If if it's not working for you and things like that, then okay, we'll start talking about it and see what they actually allow us to do. All right, in the next few weeks. But my understanding is that there's basically not going to be a decision that's made on when we can come back to campus for at least another 2 weeks. And so hopefully this works for you right here, at least for now. And I promise you we will have some fun. All right, even though it's not quite the same that what we do in class, we do have a lot of fun in this class. And some of those of you who had me in stats last fall when we were doing the YouTube, I hope you can attest to that. All right, because yes, we will do similar things that we did in that class. All right, we'll get to those in a moment. All right, so again, any questions, post them up in there, but let's go ahead and dive into the course. All right, and if you have a multi-screen setup, you can follow along with me. Otherwise, you can just watch this, and hopefully the resolution is good enough where you can see it. But let's just get started. Everything in this class 100% is on Blackboard. Okay, so all your assignments will be due on Blackboard. All your quizzes, you take them on Blackboard. You turn everything in on Blackboard. And so Blackboard is kind of is going to be your home. Now, I understand with the transition in IT, there's a couple folks who are having a little bit of difficulty getting on the Blackboard. It's totally fine right now, okay? If you can't get on the Blackboard yet because of the transition in our net IDs, the only thing I can do is assure you that they're chewing through those problems, and don't worry, I'm not going to penalize you because you can't get things done in the first week or so. It's totally fine. All right, as long as you're keeping me in the loop on that. All right, and so, but everything we do in this class is on Blackboard. Everything that you need is right here. All right, so let's just get started. Announcements. I'll post links to every live stream we do a couple minutes before we go live in the announcements. And likewise, when we get to a course module, I will post like a Module 1 overview. In fact, I'll do that here tonight for this class. So I'll tell you, hey, these are the things that you should be working on for this module. We have 8 modules, so one's due every 2 weeks. And so all your work in this class will be due Sunday night every other week. All right, that's in both the course calendar, and you'll be able to see it here in the announcements. And so hopefully, I'm going to help you manage your time a little bit with this class in order to kind of spread the work out, because this class, the way that I like to equate it, it's like rowing the channel, okay? So everybody's got to make it to the other side, okay? And so you can work ahead if you want. That's absolutely fine. If you get a little bit behind, just keep me in the loop. Let me know what's going on. And I won't penalize you for it. If you don't tell me what's going on, then yeah, I do get a little bit sticky about due dates and stuff like that. But really, the whole idea is just get all the work done. You're going to get the grade in the class, okay? And so, again, just pay attention to the announcements. That's the number one thing. Every time I post an announcement, it will come with an email to your CSUP account as well. So make sure you're watching for those, all right? And then, so the next thing on here, this getting started piece right here, this is just, basic boilerplate stuff that comes with every class. You don't have to worry. Actually, I got to delete some of this stuff out of here, so don't worry. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of junk here. That always happens whenever you do a course copy. There's always something you forget. I'll clean that all up. Don't worry about that too much. What you're probably interested in is this right here, the syllabus, which is in course info. So go ahead and click on that, and it'll bring up our syllabus here. So 3-credit course, 16-week format for this. So this class is very chill in the 16-week format. So the work on a week-to-week basis is not too onerous, and it's not something that should jam you up too much. All right, so over the course of 2 weeks, expect to do maybe 6 hours of homework for this class. All right, so maybe 3 hours a week. All right, it's not too bad. And we'll go over all the assignments here real quick. All right, course description, just we're going to talk about teamwork, individuals, motivation theory. We're going to talk about leadership theory. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of practical things that will help you become a better manager, okay? Because you are in a business program, or if you're in construction management, or if you're in AIM, guess what? You're going to be qualified, in ways that a lot of your coworkers aren't qualified, and you're all in school right now, so you're all very competent people, all right? And so you're gonna suffer from this thing that I call the curse of competence at some point in time in your career, meaning that you're gonna get out there, you're gonna do your job, you're gonna be good at your job, and eventually, because you're good at your job, they're gonna put you in charge of other people who do that job. So whether you like it or not, at some point in time in your career, you're gonna be staring down the barrel of a management promotion. And so excuse me, it's my objective in this course to help you get better and get more prepared for that moment when it happens, not if it happens, but when it happens, if not already. Okay, so the prereq for this class is Management 201, at least if you're in the business program. Not quite sure if that still holds up if you're in AIM or if you're in the construction industry, construction management program. That's absolutely fine. I think this class might be elective in those. And so if you are in one of those, absolutely you're welcome to this class. But if you're in the business side of this, make sure that you've had this 201 before you do this one. Okay? I actually don't have a problem if you take them concurrently. All right, so you'd have to talk to Sarah about that to see if she has a problem with it. But if you need my approval for that, it's fine. It's my say is not final though. All right. So that's basically what you're doing, these course objectives, things like that, blah, blah, blah. I'll let you read that all on your own. All right, first major burning question that most people have is, what is the book for this class? Congratulations. The book for this class is 100% free, and it's online, and it's right here. Okay? So the other place where you can find it is right here on Blackboard. It's this last link right there. And so it's free. It's in solid state. It's in persistent state on the internet. And so as long as you have access to the internet, you have access to the book. Okay? And if you don't have access to the internet, I can't help you. So that's the book right there. I do have a couple people from time to time say, hey, I want a print copy of the book. If you want a print copy of the book, you can print it out from this website, or you can go over to the bookstore and ask them to print it, or I think it's the library, the print shop. They will print it out for you as well, but they will charge you for it, okay? So if you're fine with it being online, I've actually have grown to the point in time where I prefer my books that way. And this one is especially good because it's got a searchable function in it. Do I expect you to read the book cover to cover? No. Okay? It's a textbook, all right? So, but I do expect you to engage with the text, all right, in a way that's meaningful. And so an online book is particularly good because this one has got a great search function in it. All right, and this book's actually written by one of my former professors, and so he's a pretty cool guy. He's got to be getting close to retiring, but we'll get into the details with that in just a couple minutes. Just remember, the text is free. All right, so you do not need to buy a book for this class. All right, here's our schedule, and so each module will run for 2 weeks, and these are the things that you'll be expected to do in each module, okay? So we have discussions in the module, and the way the discussions work with these kind of hybrid classes like this is I'm giving you the option. You can either be here with me when we do the lectures, all right, and if you're here for at least 2 of the lectures during the module, I'll give you full credit for the discussion. You don't have to do anything. If you're not here for the live sessions, post up in the discussion forums in Blackboard, and that counts too. All right, so it's entirely up to you which one you decide to do. So if you have a job and this class conflicts with it or something like that, or, I don't know, you're like me and you like to sleep till noon and you don't want to be here, that's fine too. Okay, so just make sure that you're doing one or the other. Okay, and I will give you credit for it as long as I either see you posting up in here or as long as you're posting up in the actual discussion forums in Blackboard, which are right here. Okay, either one of those are fine. So every module has a discussion. All right, and the next thing on here is every module has at least one chapter quiz and one chapter homework. Okay, most of the modules, with the exception of this very first one, have 2 chapters in them in a piece. So we're going to cover a total of 15 chapters in the book, and each one of those chapters has a homework assignment and it has a quiz. Okay, and then every now and then we'll do case studies. So I think in modules 3 and the other ones in module 6. Those are going to be 2-page written papers where you're going to pick a case study out of the book. I'll show you how to do those here in just a sec. All right, but those don't come as quite as often. And then last but not least in this class, we will have a major assignment at the end where you'll have to identify a leader, either someone in the community, someone in business, someone involved with church, athletics, anything like that, and you're going to have to sit down and have an interview with them. Now, it can be face-to-face, you can do it over the phone, you can do it via email, that's absolutely fine, but you need to engage with somebody who's out there in the field and develop a protocol, a list of questions that you want to ask them. And basically, this is an opportunity for you to ask somebody outside of the class for bona fide leadership advice, which is absolutely the best place to get it, okay? That's not due until the very end of the semester, and so we've got quite a bit of time. I probably won't start harping on that until we probably get around March, okay? All right, so that's the syllabus. Those are the expectations. Here's how much work you're going to be doing in this class. So there's 15 chapter quizzes, 15 homework assignments. They're worth 20 points apiece. We have 8 discussions, which are worth 25 points apiece. 1 leader interview, which is worth 100 points. And then 2 critical thinking cases, which are worth 50 points apiece. All right, for a grand total of 1,000 points. It's very easy to tell what your grade is in this class. It's just 1,000 points divided by 10 gives you your letter grade right there. Okay, so unfortunately, it's going to show up as an F for a very long time because we just won't have that much work under our belts. Okay, so if you're in athletics or if you need to know what your current grade is at any given point in time, if you're in athletics, and I'll do it through Starfish, I'll be able to tell you, just by eyeballing it, all right? But at the same point in time, in Blackboard, it's always served me better to always post your walk away today grade. Okay, which means if you quit the class right now, this is what your grade is going to be. All right, and so yeah, it'll show up as an F for a long time. As long as you're keeping pace with me, you're doing fine. All right, it's folks who either get behind or it's folks who just decide to blow things off. When, I'm always about like second chances. You can always make up work in this class. We'll talk about that here in just a minute and things like that. But fundamentally, with my philosophy in terms of like, hey, you get what you get, and whatever you earn is what you earn in the class. In Blackboard, it's going to show up as being a 0 for a very long time. Okay, so. And that's something that I find not only helps me but also helps motivate you in terms of how the class is going. All right, so understand that in Blackboard your grade is always going to be showing up as your walk away today grade. All right, but again, at the end of the semester it kind of gets this spike in it, especially when we get to assignments like the leader interview, which is worth an entire letter grade. Now, here in HSB, we have flat grades, which means, of course, there's no B minuses or A pluses or anything like that. And so your goal in this class is 90, because that's just as good as 100. Okay, and so in that translates to 900 points up here. So the question that a lot of people will ask is, do I have to do the leader interview? And the answer to that question is, well, technically, no. Okay. Excuse me. If you thread every needle in this class and do everything to perfection, you will have 900 points without doing the leader interview. It's possible. I've seen a few people pull it off. It's not very likely, okay? The quizzes, they're not necessarily easy. They're not terribly difficult. But at the same point in time, it is technically possible that you can do this class without. And I have seen a couple of people pull it off. So if that's a goal for you, hey, I don't want to talk to anybody outside of class. I don't need to know anything outside of class. That's fine. Okay, you can technically still get an A. I'm just going to tell you it's not very likely. All right? But that's okay. These are all assignment descriptions of what you'll be doing for each assignment. I'll show you, this is just for the syllabus purpose. I'll show you another place where it gets in a little bit more detail on these right there as well. Here's our honesty, blah, blah, blah. This is all boilerplate stuff that should be in every syllabus. Important dates, last day to drop, all right, is February 1st. That's where we'll give you your money back. So if you don't like the format, if you don't like what I'm doing, or if you don't think this class is for you, that's fine. Exit the building by February 1st so we don't take any of your money. All right. Last day to withdraw is March 19th. Actually, these dates are wrong. It's 2021. That's the only thing that's wrong on them. Yeah, I did the syllabus before the turnover, didn't I? So anyway, actually, no, maybe I didn't. When did I modify this one last? Usually I put a little marker on it. It's probably in there somewhere. But anyway, those dates are correct. It's February 1st in order to drop, and the last day withdraw date is March 19th. So after March 19th, you will earn a grade in this class. All right. Spring break is definitely working a little bit different this spring. I'm sure some people have talked about this, but if it's your first class for the week, understand that our spring break isn't until late April, and then the last 2 weeks of the semester after spring break are 100% online. So that's a little adjustment that they made at the end of last fall. And I don't know. I mean, it worked out pretty good in the fall, I think, for a lot of people because they could start their Christmas break a little bit early. And then in this class in particular, there's no major final. Honestly, notice that there's no midterm on here. There's no final on here. Okay, there's kind of a final if you decide not to do any of the quizzes until the last week, which is fine by me. But if you're doing them at a pretty steady pace, then yeah, there's no problem. There's no final at that point in time, all right? Or at least you've knocked out all the work. Again, like I said, it's swimming the channel. As long as you get to the other side, I'm cool. All right? All right, so let's get into each one of these different assignments here. So the way that I think is the best way to navigate the course is to go to course modules right here. And all you do is take a look at the announcements, whichever one is posted as the last one. So this one will be module 1. That's what you should be working on. All right, and so click on this. And this is everything that we'll be doing for this. Actually, my quizzes aren't in here. What the heck? Where are my links? This one has the links in it. All right. So anyway, I'll have to go back in. I thought I edited all this, but it looks like some of them are missing the links in there. That's okay. I'll go back in and rebuild the links in there. You know what? When I did the course copy of this, a couple of screwy things did happen. So, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Let's just go to module 2 here, because this one's actually got the assignments in there. Actually, it does. It doesn't have the homework assignment. Yeah, I must have murdered off a bunch of my links. Boo! All right, so, but I will fix all of these so that it actually has links to every last thing that you should be doing for each one of the modules in here. All right, and so this one, so here's your readings. There's chapter 2, chapter 3. These are the attached PowerPoints. The PowerPoints for this class kind of suck. It is under, yeah, Harley, it is under chapter quizzes, but I usually put links here in each one of the modules. It just looks like when I did the course copy, it murdered some of my links, and that makes me unhappy. So I will go in and I will fix it. All right, that's just really unfortunate because now I have to do it for both sections of the class. So that's okay. That's what you guys pay me for. So, excuse me. So anyway, yeah, so in each one of these modules, there will be links to every last thing that you do. So here's your readings, here's your presentations. Like I was saying, that the PowerPoints kind of suck for this class. They're just from the textbook. You know, the textbook is, I don't know, it's a little dense in some parts, but I will lecture on it. And so, you know, you can either read it through or you can, you know, watch the lectures after they post. Either one works for me. The PowerPoints don't really do you much good. I've just had people ask them for me, ask me for them in the past, so I posted them in there. And then, like this one, Module 2, you'd have to do a discussion forum if you're not actually in the live sessions. So just click on that and post up in there. And then Module 2, the chapter quizzes will show up here along with links to the homework assignments. And like I said, it's just murdered off all my links in here when I do this. Let's see if this one's got a homework. No, this one does not either. So anyway, I'll fix that. So, but you can also navigate it through all these links right here. All right. So assignments are where you're going to find all your class assignments. Okay, and yeah, see, all the assignments are in here. Just the links got broken. That's okay, I'll fix them. And so, like your chapter 1 homework assignment, you just click on this guy right here. It'll tell you exactly what to do for that. If you click on this link right here, this is where you submit it. And so since I have both of those up right now, let's talk about the homework assignments. Homework assignments are really straightforward in this class. They are one-page assignments, okay? One-page written submission, due every other week for each chapter, okay? And so this first module, you only have one of these that's due. It's not due this Sunday, it's due the following Sunday night. Okay, the next module will have 2 chapters, so you have to do 2 of these, all right, for that one. And every module past that also has 2. And so, really straightforward assignment. So place the following title information in 12-point bold font, single space, upper left-hand corner, just like this. Okay, and then what you do is select one question for the question for review section at the end of this chapter. Type the question verbatim at the top of the page. Format the rest of your submission as follows. And so the way that you do this is you go to your textbook here. And then chapter 1, all right, so that's this guy right here. You go chapter review questions right here, and then you pick any one of these questions, just one question, all right? So all you have to do is pick one. I want you to pick one that kind of speaks to you. All right, and then you answer the question in 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph, like this, is one answer, 1 paragraph. In your own words, answer the question using the test. Please cite the page where you drew your answers from. If you're using the book in the online format, you can't see the page numbers, and so just use the section number. Okay, so it'd be like section 1.1. That's fine. Just put that in parentheses like this, where you drew your answers from. All right, and so that's where the search function in the book comes in real handy, okay? So if you're talking about a specific question where you want to answer one that has to do with a particular theory or something like that, just search it, okay? And boom, it'll take you right to that section in the book. All right, and so that's your first paragraph, and then your second paragraph is in your own words. Illustrate your answer using a personal example that relates to the question. Okay, and so if I were to look at the questions in here again, which I navigated away from, no, here they are right there. Oh man, I don't do this thing, and it's something that always pops that thing in there. Come on, get off my screen, jerk. Oh well. So in this one, like say I decided to pick question number 5 where it says define management. The first paragraph, I would actually look at the textbook definition of management. I would type that in there, you know, not copy and paste it, but again, you know, put it in my own words, and then, hey, this is, you know, where I found that in the book as far as the section number. But then the second paragraph would say, well, what management means to me is blah, 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 because I did yada, 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 or I saw saw somebody else do and I thought they were a really good manager, okay? Or whatever, all right? So every single homework assignment that you submit is going to be specific to you, because for each one that you do, you're not only going to answer the question verbatim, the kind of textbook-like answer for one, but then the next one, it's going to be illustrated with your own personal example. So sometimes you need to be a little bit strategic about which one of these that you're going to pick, because sometimes there'll be a question there that you just don't have any experience on. That's okay. That's why I let you just pick one. Okay? So you'll find one in every single chapter that will speak to you in a certain way. And so that's the homework assignments for each chapter. And so, again, those are due at regular intervals. It's all updated right now in the course calendar, which if you go down to see, and it's got the due date right there, but if you go down to your, I think it's in your control panel. My side looks a little bit different than yours. You should have a course calendar, or maybe it's course tools. You should have a course calendar in there. Mine's going to look way different than yours because I've got 4 different classes. Okay, so, but, you should be able to see when everything's due in there as well. Just remember, it's every 2 weeks, all right? And so if it's been a week and you haven't done any work for this class, you should probably be thinking, hey, there's probably some work I should do for Pat's class. The answer to that question is yeah. All right, and so that's the chapter homework assignments. All right, I do want these on the due date. If you do not turn them in on time, I give you an automatic 30% haircut on them. All right, but after that, you can turn them in all the way at the last day of class. I don't care. All right, so the only reason why the written assignments in this class have due dates is because I have to grade them. All right, and so they're due on Sunday nights. I usually try and have them done Monday. All right, or like after class, because of course we have lecture, or no later than usually Tuesday, unless something's going on and I get jammed up with something. I don't make a hard commitment on that, but I do keep up to speed on this stuff, and you turning things in on time really helps me with that. The other thing is that you're going to be a manager someday. You've got absolutely no business telling other people how to manage their time if you can't manage yours. And so please, get your schedule set up however you want. Just understand that when you go past the due date on a written assignment, it's my job to enforce consequences, which is part of being a manager. All right. And so that's what I'll do. The exception to this is if you ping me beforehand, I will engage with you. I will negotiate with you. And in case they say, hey, I can't get it done this weekend, it's absolutely fine. When can you have it done by? All right, what's going to happen if you don't have it done by then? We need to talk about that, but you need to engage with me. If you choose not to engage with me, that's absolutely fine. Just understand, okay, I'm going to do what I got to do at that point in time. But again, it's really flexible policy, all right? So there's no do or die assignments in this class that are going to make or break your grade, all right? And if you do have a weekend where it's just like you didn't get to it this weekend, that's okay. Chew down on the consequences. It's not the end of the world. You can turn it again for at least 70%, for at most 70% credit. Okay, and so it's not the end of the world. And the same thing's true with attendance and stuff like that. I don't need you to tell me that I'm sick, that you're sick, or that you can't make it, or something's going on with your grandma. Personally, it's not my business. Okay, so if you can't make class, it's totally fine. All right, it's entirely up to you how much you choose to engage with the class. Just like when you get out there in the workforce, it's entirely up to you how much you choose to engage with the job. They're not equivalents, all right, but at the same point in time, that it's your choice, all right, and so I respect that. I don't need to know every little detail. It's, like I said, not my business. All right. So my business to grade what actually comes in the grade box and be here with you every Tuesday or every Monday and Wednesday. All right. And so we will do that. So those are the homework assignments. The next thing that you'll do is the chapter quizzes. These are really straightforward. They're all here on Blackboard. These are pool questions that come from the text. All right. And so Module 8, Chapter 16. Yeah, we skipped Chapter 4. That's right. So we have 15 of these. We're skipping Chapter 4. But all of these here, all you have to do is just click on this and then click Begin, and it'll start barfing questions out at you. All right. So each chapter has some 250 questions that it pulls from, and so it'll pull 20 of them for you at rando, and they're all multiple choice. Some of them are true false. They're pretty straightforward. My hack for doing this is, like, I have dual monitors, and so I have the text on one and the quiz on the other. That's absolutely fine. You're not timed on these. You can take them as many times as you want. If you take it once and you get like 17 out of 20, bad, try it again. You might get 18 next time. I never know. But you will not get the exact same questions. You'll get questions on the same stuff, but you won't get the exact same questions on each individual one. Just past experience in this class is like most folks, like they do absolutely fine in the class if they get like 16 to 17 of them right on each one. That way, if you get a 20 on one, it's great. If you bomb one and get a 14 on it and just can't get a better score, that's fine too. But you can take them as many times as you want. There is no penalty for doing these late because there's no due date on these except for the very end of the class. So you can do these whenever you want. I don't care. I don't have to grade them. Okay, you get your score instantaneously. So I'm not putting arbitrary due dates on them because there's really no realistic reason for me to do so. All right, you can do them whenever you want. All right, and then with these quizzes, like my advice to you would be like, okay, if you're doing the homework, just knock out the quiz while you're doing it. Because I do see some people, they neglect all the quizzes, they get to the end of the semester, and guess what? Now you kind of do have a final because you still have to do the quizzes. and I've seen some people put them all the way off to the end where, like, okay, it's the last week of class. Well, congratulations, you have 15 quizzes to do with 20 questions apiece. That's a 300-question final. So, but whatever, if you choose to do it that way, I am not here to stop you, okay? But that's how you do the quizzes. They're very straightforward. Just click on this begin button. You do get them one question at a time. That's just the way that this test bank worked on this one. And so when you answer this one, say like, which of these best describe a company's ability to provide products and services more effectively and efficiently than competitors? You could take this and try and slap it into the search bar or something like that. But really, you know, what I find works better is you throw a couple of these guys into the search bar, and then you'll probably find it pretty quick. All right. So, but the idea behind this is it does force you to engage with the text, and you know, maybe not reading it line by line, but still at the same point in time, I find that these are pretty effective in terms of, you know, exposing you to a lot more of organizational behavior than just what I can teach you. Okay. And so, you know, like this one, I don't even know the answer to this one. This is a products and service. So it's probably going to be industrial competitiveness right there. So then you just go to the next question, and then ta-da, you get another one, go through all 20, and then bam, all of a sudden, you're going to get your score. Yes, you can absolutely take him. You can take him as many times as you want. So if you get a crappy score, you know, don't beat yourself up. Just go try it again. You know, maybe you're having a bad day. You know, maybe it's just not clicking for you. That's all right. Do it tomorrow. So, or next week, whatever. But yes, you can take them as many times as you want. All right. Homework assignments. Resubmits on homework assignments. You usually don't really need to So, like, when I say 2 paragraphs on those, I mean 2 paragraphs. And so if you're giving me one sentence on one sentence, I'll hit you with a 0 on that one and say resubmit. All right, but really when it comes down to it, it's not very often that people have to resubmit homework assignments. And usually I'll give you a fair warning on the first 1 or 2 that you turn in. If you're not up to speed on it, if it's not satisfactory, then I'm going to ping you on it and say, hey, try this again. I'm very big on second to 15th chances, all right, but I'm going to also tell you that we do have a hard cutoff on a lot of these things, and that cutoff is the end of the semester, okay? If you haven't been engaging with me, if you've been struggling with class and stuff like that, and it rolls around to the end of the semester and it's 2 days before the final or before the semester ends, because we don't have a final in this class, and you're like, oh, what can I do to make up all the work? The answer is do the work. All right, I never let people off the hook when it comes to doing work. All right, that's my hard and fast rule. It's rowing the channel. You either make it to the other side or you don't. Okay, but as far as like, you know, taking quizzes over and over again, yeah, knock yourself out. Totally fine. So I hope that philosophy jives with some of you. You know, it comes from my experience in management as well as education, is that very rarely in the real world are there, you know, do or die consequences. With maybe the exception of like project management work or, you know, but I mean, getting your TPS reports in on the weekend and things like that, a lot of it's make work. but there's a difference between what I call arbitrary consequences and natural consequences. This class has natural consequences if you don't do the work. It's that simple. All right? So, I'm not going to slap a whole bunch of arbitrary due dates on you. The only natural one in that case is the written work. I mean, I have to have it, otherwise I can't grade it. So the more ways that you can find natural consequences and enforce those, the less time you have to spend defending arbitrary consequences. That's a whole discussion we'll get to in the future. But anyway, good job on the questions. If you have any other questions here, post them up because we're going to wrap up here in just a couple minutes. All right. The only other assignments in here are where are they? The critical thinking assignments, which aren't in here for some reason. These should be... Oh, these are quizzes. Pat, you dummy. There we go. Assignments. There we go. Critical thinking cases. So these ones, they won't come up for probably... This one won't come up for probably another... I won't talk about it again for another 4 weeks or so. But these are basically 2-page responses to some of the critical thinking cases in the text. And so if you go on the text, by the time we get to Module 3, we'll cover it up to Chapter 6 or Chapter 7. And so you'll just go to any one of these critical thinking cases in each one of these and answer all 3 questions in a 2-page response on those. All right, not a huge deal. They're worth twice as much. Well, actually a little bit more than that, than the homework. And so, but I use these to kind of basically give you an opportunity to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. All right, and this book does a pretty good job with its cases, but you can pick any of the cases from any of the chapters that we've covered up to that point in time. And so, again, you get a little bit of flexibility there in terms of what it is that you actually want to do, okay? Again, I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get a little bit closer, all right? And so I think that basically covers most of the stuff that... folks have questions about in the beginning of the class. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing. So quiz and a homework assignment for every chapter per module. So this first module, you only have to do 1 apiece. All right. And then after that, it'll be 2 in every single one. Modules 3 and 6, you got a critical thinking case study. And the very last end, the end of the class, you'll have a leader interview to do. And that'll be worth 100 points. All right. So grading scale in the class is 1,000 points, and so your goal in this class is 900 points. That's an A. That's just as good as a 999 or a perfect 1,000. Some people are completionists, and that's absolutely fine. I admire that, and I have much respect. So if you want to get all 1,000 points, it's totally doable in this class. All right. Other questions that usually come up. I think I've covered late policy. It's only on written work. And it's a 30% penalty on any late written work if it's posted after the due date. You have to turn everything in on Blackboard. A little tip on turning things in Blackboard: if you're using an Apple or a Mac and you're using Pages, or if you're using Microsoft Open Office, if you're on Linux or something like that, always save your written assignments as a PDF before you upload them to Blackboard. Blackboard has a tendency to spit back Pages assignments or anything that's not in Word format, but it'll always take a PDF. So if you're having any trouble uploading something, make sure that you're saving it as a PDF before you actually do it. It's a little tip right there. Other than that, that's basically the course in a nutshell. Again, we're going to be meeting on Mondays and Wednesdays here on YouTube for at least the first 2 weeks. It's my goal to try and get us some class time if we can. But again, I'm going to try and be as flexible as possible. I'm certainly going to be as flexible as possible with you. If you're not comfortable coming to a class, and that is completely understandable. I mean, I went to campus, I think it was in when did they shut us down? They shut us down in November, and I had 3 days to get down there and get some crap out of my office. And I'm sitting here touching the, the doorknobs like this and things, just because it's kind of, I mean, college has always been a place where I was guaranteed to get a cold every single semester at least once. All right, just because it's a college, just the way it is. It's kind of like working in a hospital. It's just gonna happen. All right, and so if you're not comfortable coming to class this spring, I totally understand, and the class is totally built to accommodate you. All right, on this one, there's no you'll get no grief out of me over that this semester. And if we have to run with this format for the entire semester, we will have a good time. The lectures in this class will usually be pretty short, about 45 minutes or so. We have fun during those. I offer extra credit opportunities if you're there, all right, for them. If you don't make the classes, I'm sorry, you don't get the same extra credit opportunities, but the extra credit opportunities that I like to do in class, we'll get a little taste of those on Wednesday when we meet together here on the YouTube for our first lecture session, all right? So they are fun, though, all right? And it's my job not just to educate and make you and help you become a better manager, but, my priority is to have a good time, too. There are so many times in the working world where people just forget to have fun. And so, no, you do not need anything from the bookstore. Nothing. Everything is on Blackboard. It is all 100% free. I got you covered. Okay, so excellent question, Harley. But we will meet again on Wednesday and kick off our first lecture series on Chapter 1, which we'll spend a little bit of time this week and next week discussing. And then after that, the pace will pick up quite a bit because we'll be doing at least a chapter a week, all right? So because it's 2-week modules, and so 2 chapters per module gives us 1 chapter a week to discuss, all right? And so it'll pick up the pace pretty quickly, but this first 2 weeks, we're going to kind of take it easy. So, and we're going to kind of get used to this new format and, use as much time as possible to get everybody settled, get everybody comfortable with technology, things like that, and make sure that everybody knows what they should be working on. All right? So, again, we got like a 3 or 4 second delay here. So if you have any questions, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to punch them in here before we pull the pin on this one. If you don't have a question and if you're good, we'll catch you on Wednesday. It's great meeting and seeing a lot of you here. But if you do have a question, now's the time to punch it in. Or if you think of it when you walk away, 10 minutes from now, it's like, oh, I should have asked him that. That's okay. Just send it to me as an email. I'll respond to you personally, and I'll bring it up the next time that we actually meet here on Wednesday as well. But in the meantime, I'm not really seeing that much in there. So again, let me just run through a little bit of my qualifications to teach this class. I've been teaching this class now for all the 6 years that I've been teaching at HSB. So I graduated with my MBA many moons ago. I've been working on my PhD for the last couple of years. That's actually a more onerous process than I thought it was going to be in the beginning. But it is something that is definitely in the works at the moment. But really, when it comes down to it, the thing that I bring that's a little bit different to this class that I think some of some of my colleagues do who are eminent scholars, they're excellent people. There's nobody that I haven't gotten along with on HSB, and I can't say that about all the schools that I've taught at. But here at HSB, I really feel at home. But I bring a lot of practical management experience from a previous life in management, and some of those stories, some of those mistakes that I made, they're things that I'm not proud of, but I am going to share them with you. I will tell you about the times where I got involved in sexual harassment lawsuits, and it was completely my fault that I didn't stop this behavior on the part of other people that I was responsible for. I will tell you about times where I fired the wrong person and totally blew an investigation. I will tell you about how I jacked up people's lives by just making minor changes in the schedule only to have them blow up in my face later. I'll tell you about times where I almost got beat up in the parking lot once. So, all these different management things that I want you to avoid down the road, I do so because I come from the school of hard knocks in some respects. There's a reason why I'm no longer a manager, and we'll get to why that is as well. There's a reason why I like to teach, and it's particularly well suited for me in some respects, and we'll talk about that. But really, when it comes down to it, this is about helping you become a better manager. And if I can point out some of the ways that, hey, this really works, and don't ever do this, all right? And if you can take some of those lessons to heart, I have great faith in all of you that you will make fantastic supervisors, and that really, when it comes down to it, as long as you have that desire to learn about these things from people who've been there and from, folks who, maybe are a little bit more on the academic side. They have a lot to offer us as well. And so we're going to do a little bit of both of those in this class here. And I hope you enjoy it. So, okay. Sorry, what did I say? What did you say you were ahead of? What do you mean ahead of? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I'm ahead of what? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So, but yeah, if that's the only question, we'll catch you guys all Wednesday. I'll hang on here for just a couple minutes in case anybody's got any other questions. But we're donezo with the lecture, so I hope to see you all on Wednesday. Thank you for being here. And if you don't have any questions for me, feel free to pull the pin now. Or, if there's something that I wasn't clear on, this will post here in probably about another hour or two. And so you can always just go back and check it out then. All right? But that's all I got for you today. We're way over time here, so manager of transportation. I was a manager in the transportation industry. I spent 15 years in there. About 12 of those were with the airlines. In various roles, both in customer service management, and then I also did quite a bit of logistics management as well. And then the rest of my transportation career was spent with the railroad, which is which I'm discovering is kind of a rare thing. All right, so all of those were management, and I managed everything from crews of 8 people on a shift to an entire organization that had over 350 employees who reported directly to me. And so there's quite a bit of like breadth in that experience there that we can draw from. And so that's what I did. I managed and actually, you know what, even in education, I was a manager in education for a little while too, because I spent almost 2 years of my academic career as department chair in a small college. That one was really interesting. And that was one of the jobs that I didn't really do very well in that job. I didn't get along with my boss. So we'll talk about why that was. All right, at that point in time. So, but yes, no, there will be a lot of stories out there. So very few of which make me look particularly good, but all of which are things that you can learn from. All right. So great question. All right, guys. So I see a lot of you are still here, but a few of you are dropping off. But we're gonna go ahead and pull the pin on it here. Again, if you have any questions, post them up in there or email to me and we'll talk about them on Wednesday. But likewise, I'm very happy to have you all here and I'm really looking forward to this semester. So that's it. We'll take care. We'll actually pull the pin here and we'll see you all on Wednesday. Take care now. Bye.